Hi guys, Candy Toy Box here. Today you will need some pony beads, scissors, a lighter, a needle. I have some string here. This is just leftover from some other projects. And you're also going to need 10 of these. I will put the pattern in after this. And you're also going to need one of these mesh canvas sheets. You can find these like with the yarn, but you're going to need one of those. And I already have one of these done. Well, here, let me add the pattern in and then I'll be back. Okay, so once you get all 10 of your mushroom perlers done, you can come back to this point. Also, I would like to mention that I do have some tips for perlers, so if you're not comfortable or just getting into it, you can go check that out. I have a playlist, Candy Tips playlist. It's under there. But okay, so you have your 10. What I went ahead and already did with these is I took my needle and I poked holes. So this first mushroom, I poked this hole, this one, and this one. I think it might be easier if I lay this down and then you guys can pause the video and poke your needle through each hole. I'm going to do a few over here, but it might be easier to get a screenshot or pause the video to make this a reference. So I went ahead and made my holes because it will be easier to string through. So I'm going to work with my first two, and we're going to go through this outside hole. And then you're going to take this other one, and we made a hole right here. We're going to go through. Oh, it's going to be hard. I put lotion on my hands. Dang it. All right, I'll be back. Okay, yeah, don't put lotion on your hands before you do this because it'll be hard to pull the needle through. Okay, so I have my string going through both of those. We're going to go to the back side, and you're going to make a knot here. You might want to make a few. Okay, that's what it looks like so far. Now we made a hole here and here. Same thing. We're going to go through this one. Okay, so that's what that one looks like. Then you're going to flip it over, make a knot. Okay, the next one is right here and right here. Oh, pulled it too fast. Like that. Okay, so we're going to do the same exact thing on this side. I'm going to go ahead and do this part off camera, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. Okay, guys, I have the top 3 together here. Now to connect the bottom 2, you're going to make holes in the corners of both of these. So one here, there, this one, and this one. So you can connect that. And then I also have a hole here and on here. So it just kind of fits in there. Like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with if I can get in there. Flip it over. Now I will say I would call this an advanced project, so you got to have some patience with yourself. I mean, you can see that I'm struggling a little bit to get these through here. So and don't feel like you need to do the whole project in one sitting. You can always start it and then come back to it. Kandi can be relaxing, and it can get a little frustrating if you have little hang-ups. Like putting lotion on before making candy. Okay, so we have that connected there. Now the last part we have is right here for this side. Oh, I grabbed a long piece of string this time. Okay, that's what that one looks like. Now we have to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to go ahead and do that part off camera. And then you're going to want to repeat it again because we need 2 of these. So once you have all these connected, well, I'll go ahead and tell you this step. You're going to poke a hole at the top of these on both sides. Same with the bottom ones. So you can get those pre-poked. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do those and then I'll be back. Okay guys, the next step, so we have all these outside holes poked. I forgot to mention that we need to do these middle ones too. On both sides. Where the purple, well this black one, but on the purple row. Okay, so now what we're going to do, oh my gosh, that train. Jeez. Okay. I have some string. We're going to go through those holes that we poked. And you're going to cut just a little. You just want a little bit there so you have enough to tie it onto this mesh. Now, for this part, I'm going to leave it up to you if you want to do each one by one. Because, well, I'm going to show you my other one here. On this one, I already have all my strings through there. So I'm going to place it on the mesh and tie each one. But it might be easier if you just do one by one. Can you see I have these little strings on all the holes we poked? So we can tie it to the mesh. I'm going to do, we'll start with this one, but I'm going to put the string through this one too and then show you. Here, maybe I should turn this around. Okay, so this fits. You'll have to get it lined up there. But it looks like there'll be 2 rows on each side. So when you figure out where that placement is, you're going to take your string and go through the hole. Let's see if I can get this on camera. It's a little awkward here. Okay, so I need to reline this up. And it looks like it's the 11th square. So if you count, depending on your size of mesh too, but this is like, I think the standard size, but I counted 11 squares and I'm going to put my string through there. Well, now I lost my place. Right here. So you're going to put 1 string through. And then we're going to, did any of that even get on the freaking camera? What the? Okay, well, like I said, sorry if that didn't get on there, but count 11 squares, and then you're going to tie this. And then you can cut that off. Let's see how many squares that is. So that was the 9th square that I put the string through. Cut that off. Okay, so I have that one on there. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. So you'll just have to see what's easier, if putting all these little tie-on strings and doing them all at once, or doing one at a time. But I'm going to go ahead and do that part off camera, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay guys, this is what it looks like. I have them all attached, and I would recommend doing them one by one. That seemed to be a little easier. And also I did some ties in the middle of both of these on each side. And I went ahead and cut 3 pieces of string. I think they're about 3 feet. But what we're going to do is fold this in half. And you're going to take one of these strings. Let's see if I can get creative here. And make like a little, there we go. Okay, we're going to take one of those strings and you're going to go through the top square. We're going to put on 1 pink bead, and then you're going to take the string and go across to the top square. And we're going to even out the strings. So what you can do is take the ends together and pull like this. Okay, now we're going to take both of your ends and we're going to go through the pink bead. Well, here, we'll do this side first. So I'm taking the string and I'm going through the pink bead and the second square. We're going to take this string, go through the pink bead, same thing, the second square. You're going to pull that tight. Okay, now we're going to take our string and go through the third square on both sides. We're going to put the orange bead on one side like this. You're going to take the other string and cross it. So if you've done the ladder bracelet, that's what we're basically doing here. Okay, and now we're going to go through the, you're going to take your string and go through, what are we on, the 4th? Yeah, the 4th square. And then take it back through the 5th one. going to go through the 4th. And the 5th. I'm going to bring you in closer so you can see. And you might have to keep pulling this tight as we work through. Now this time we're going to add 2 yellow. Okay, we have our 2 yellow. You're going to take the opposite side of string and go through these 2 yellow. So if you see, we're always crossing the strings through the beads. And now that we have it started, you know where your string's going to go. It's going to go through that next square, through, and then we're going to go down. So we're like sewing the beads, hand sewing them to the mesh. We're going to add 2 green. We're going to take this string and go through these 2. And then you pull both ends. Okay, the next set is 3. You're going to take your string, the other side, and go through. Three purple. Take the other string and go through. Okay, that's what it's looking like so far. So if you notice our pattern, we're doing 2 sets of 1, 2 sets of 2, 2 sets of 3. The next one's going to be 4, and we're back at pink. I haven't decided how thick I want to do this. This is the first time I'm making this. I've had this idea for quite a while, but I wanted to get on here and just kind of freestyle with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and add my pink. I'm going to do the rest of this off camera and then show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like. I ended up doing rows of 7 until I got down. Okay, so we started with 1, there's 2 rows of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I carried on with rows of 7 until I got to the pink. I switched to 6, and then the orange, 5, 4, and now the last one's going to be green. And I'm going to do 2. So to tie this off, we're just going to put the 2 green on and then take our ends and tie them together. Just want to make sure that all those little holes were covered. So you might have to stretch it out and push these, move them around until you get them to look nice. And then I have the other side finished. And one of those strings that we put off to the side, we can use to make our strap. And what I did was I took my string and I went through the square, this bead, and this square, the top one. And then you put your ends together to make it even. And my pattern for this, I'm going to put on 5 black on each side. So I have 5 black on both sides. And then I'm going to do the rainbow, but with both strings together. Like that. And I'm going to repeat that. So I'm going to go ahead and put 5 black on each side and then put the strings together and add rainbow. And I'm going to do that until I get to the length I want. And you guys can decide how long you want your strap to be. Okay guys, I went ahead and added all my beads for my strap here. And when you get to the other side, what I did was I took just how we started the strap over here. You're going to take your string and go through this square, bead, and square. And then I tied it. And I do have some extra string that I'm going to use for the border. If you don't have any extra, you're going to get a piece of string and you're going to run it through. Well, really, you could tie it anywhere you want, but I'm taking my string back through. So I have string on both sides, and we're going to do a border with pony beads across. But we'll start on this side because I have So we're just going to fill in the space. Here I might go through the next one. There we go. So I went through where we tied it, through that square. Now I'm going to go through, this second square and then come out of the one we tied to. Might be a little tricky getting in there. Okay, so we did a little sewing back and forth through these three so you can get your string to come out right next to the mushroom. So it looks like we can fit 3 sets of rainbow here. Okay, I'm going through the square where we tied. Pull that tight, and then I'm going to go through the square right before we tied, and then we're going to go through the one that we did tie, and then out through the next square. And whoops. Okay. We're going to go through all 3 of these. And you might have to pull your string a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side. And we're also going to need to outline these sides. Okay, guys, I ended up making my border go all the way around. And then I also connected this bottom row to the side. And if you wanted to, I have this little like magnetic button I think I might add that I got at Joann's. But it's just it's just a little button to make it close. I haven't decided yet, but all right. That's what it looks like all finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you next time.